striving to have clean, unbiased data is a lost cause. Data will always have some bias. Even completely unbiased things, like a coin flip, right? If you flip a fair coin 100 times, do you think it will come out exactly 50% head and 50% tail?
Of course not. There are observer effects.
Exactly. There are statistical randomness, right? Sometimes you may get 48 versus 52. Sometimes it just, but those are considered acceptable range of kind of statistical error, right? But as you're kind of, if you flip it a million times, right, it better be pretty close to 50-50. The fact that we have finite training sample or training data and trying to strive for 100% kind of clean, unbiased data is a lost cause. I don't think it's achievable, and I don't think it's reasonable, and I don't think it's actually good use of time to ensure that they are totally unbiased. But what I think is really useful is that think about where do those data actually come from. Those data actually come from us. We are the one that's actually biased. We as humans, we make decisions that are biased. That's why those data are biased, and they are used to train the AI, and that's why the AI is biased. So the bias in AI is actually a reflection of the fact that we humans make biased choices and decisions. We don't realize it because we don't make them as fast. It's just like flipping a few coin flip, right? If I flip a perfectly fair coin 10 times, right? Even if I flip I have a biased coin, right? Completely, maybe one side is kind of maybe heavier, right? If I flip it 10 times, you're not going to be able to tell reliably whether it's biased. If it's slightly biased, if it's a really biased, like every time it's head, right, you might be able to tell, but you're not going to be able to tell. So what can we do? The best way to deal with this thing is actually ensure that humans make better decisions in the future. And a lot of that actually comes from the fact that you can actually use gamification or things like that, right? And feedback to inform the human what decisions they have made in the past. I use in one of the articles that I've written, I use HR as an example because that's tend to be a very sensitive area to bias and discrimination. Let's say, some company X, right? They've been hiring people, and the hiring manager is saying that I'm not biased against any gender or race or anything like that, right? I'm just hiring who's most capable. But if you actually look at the data, if you look at it in the last month, you may not actually realize there's any bias. Bias is inherently, I would say, a collective thing, just like a coin, right? If you flip it 10 times or 100 times, you may not see the bias. If you flip 1,000, 10,000, a million times, you might be seeing the bias. You need a lot of data to show that bias, right? So this is the thing where analytics can be helpful, right? You could feed back to the human and say, you know what? Yeah, you may not think you're biased, but over the past 10 years, you've been hiring 20% more male than female or something like that, right? Maybe you would actually change who to hire as your next candidate, right? You may still pick a male because still the best qualified, but you may make you think twice. Maybe I should look at more female candidate or invite more female candidate to interview with us so that we'll give them more chances, right, to see. That's the thing. We humans have to learn to make more unbiased decisions. So the data that we generate to train this AI becomes less biased over time, rather than just cleaning the data. We need to change. It's not the data that needs to change because we generate the data.